good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, I'm going to be talking about Stakataka, because ladies and gentlemen, something might be going on with Stakataka. Now, Stakataka as a Pokemon is a very good Pokemon, but it's not a very good attacker, which of course leads to the fairly rhythmic statement of Stakataka is not a good attacker. Sorry about that. It's very good with Nagging Adel. We talked about that. I want to say I was the first person to talk about that, but I could be wrong. I certainly hadn't seen any, but somebody may have ninja'd me. We'll never know, I suppose. I mean, we could, but that's a lot of work to try and date everything. Too much work for me. So Nagging Adel comes in with its attack, and Stakataka sits there with its great ability, which reduces damage done to all of your Ultra Beasts by 10, so it really is just a sit on the bench and protect Nagging Adel kind of Pokemon. And the main attack here is incredibly uninspiring. 2 metal, 1 colourless, 120, no thank you. But the GX attack has long been very interesting. This attack does 50 more damage for each prize card you have taken, with a 50 base damage. That's alright. You've taken 3 prize cards, you do 200. You've taken 4 prize cards, you do 250, and so on and so forth. Especially if you're using Beast Ring to accelerate energy, there is certainly an argument that this is a good GX attack. But it's about the only attack you'll ever want to use. Now, Nagging Adel GX is a very interesting Pokemon, with a very interesting GX attack, and there has been a question as to how this exactly interacts with Stakataka's GX attack. Now, obviously, you can only have 1 per game, but Nagging Adel makes both players put 3 prize cards out, no matter how many they had before. So there's long been a question with Stakataka along the lines of, well, hang on a second. If you've not taken any prizes, but your opponent resets you to 3 prizes with Nagging Adel, do you do 50 damage with Stakataka because you've not taken any prizes, or 200 damage because 3 prizes remaining means you've taken 3 prizes? Now, the wording on Stakataka is very clear as far as I'm concerned here. Prizes taken. If Nagging Adel uses its GX attack, you've taken no prizes, you do 50 damage. Luckily, this did come up in a thread over on Burbank City, over on Facebook, and Michael Martin, who many of you should know as somewhat of an authority when it comes to rulings, did post an equivalent ruling from back in the day. It was all to do with Dialga and Palkia's time control, which added 2 prize cards to your opponent's side. And then when that was used, Miss Magius's Grudge. And essentially, if you've taken 2 prizes, but Dialga and Palkia add 2 prizes, you've taken 2 prizes, even though it looks like none have taken. So the Stakataka ruling basically is, no, ignore Nagging Adel, look at how many prizes you've actually taken. Now that's an interesting little nugget and an interesting little ruling query, but not really deserving of a video on its own. Although I am thinking of doing a weird rulings video. I might bring you that one in a couple of days. Let me know in the comment section if you'd be up for that. But you see, I got a message on Twitter yesterday that was very, very strange. A player had been using Stakataka GX and had done 350 damage after only taking 5 prizes. Which is weird because you should only be doing 300 when you've taken 3 prizes with the 50 base. So they did what you're supposed to do in such a situation, and they sent a message to PTCGO using the appropriate method to get an explanation. And here's the thing. Usually, if there's a bug, then they tell you there's a bug. They tell you they're going to fix it, and a lot of the time that card then gets banned, and when you try and log in, you get a little bit of a message. Fighting Fury Bout for a while was bugged, so it didn't actually provide the extra bulk, so you were getting KO'd when you had a Fighting Fury Bout on when you shouldn't have been. But that got fixed and it was identified as a bug, etc. What's weird about the Stakataka thing here, it wasn't identified as a bug. Here was the response. Thank you for contacting Pokemon support and thank you for your patience while we reviewed your game log. It looks like the game counted a total of 6 prize cards that were taken due to Beast Ball being played. The Beast Ball card states, look at your face down prize cards. You may reveal an Ultra Beast card you find there, put it into your hand and put this Beast Ball in its place. It looks like a prize card was taken during this turn, making a total of 6 prize cards that were taken prior to Stakataka GX's Assembly GX attack. This would explain the 350 damage. I hope I was able to clarify everything. If you have any other questions or concerns, do not hesitate to reach out to us again. Have an awesome day. Gotta love how cheery that message is. Gotta love how detailed an explanation that is. Now, before we analyse this fully, let's take a quick look at Beast Ball so we can remind ourselves what it does. Now, we did just get the wording of it there. It lets you look at your face-down prize cards and swap Beast Ball with any Ultra Beast you might have there. What's interesting is that at the moment, PTCGO is counting that as taking a prize card. Now that's an interesting semantic question. Have you taken a prize card, or have you swapped a prize card for a card in your hand, ergo not having taken? At the moment, PTCGO is taking that as having taken a prize card, and that's very interesting. You've got a prized Ultra Beast, you play a Beast Ball, Stakataka's GX attack does an extra 50 damage. You've got another one prized, you play another Beast Ball, you add another 50 damage to Stakataka's GX attack. What's interesting is that Beast Ball is a card that, as a Pokemon search card, it's not great. It's not seeing a huge amount of play because you've got to have Ultra Beast prize to search them, and it's a little bit awkward. And let's face it, Ultra Space is a stadium that if it doesn't get replaced, you can use turn after turn, and it lets you search your deck where your Ultra Beasts are much more likely to be. So Beast Ball is generally being eschewed in favour of Ultra Space, and honestly, I cannot blame players for that. That makes perfect sense to me. But if you can use this to add damage to Nagging Adel's GX attack, it all of a sudden becomes like 5+ powers in one, although admittedly only for that one turn of the game where you use that GX attack, and it becomes very, very interesting. Now, like many of you, when I heard about this, my first thought was, well, they've just got the ruling wrong. And if you force me to give a definitive answer, I'm still probably going to say, I think they've got the ruling wrong. Let's be clear that the people who answer these questions, I don't know if they're high-level Pokemon judges, I suspect they're not. They're people that know about the game. I'm going to be honest here, I don't know who answers these questions. But I'm fairly sure it's not the kind of people that are head judge at Worlds, who are the pinnacle of ruling. I don't think it's people like Michael Martin, for instance, who would be a great person to ask for this. And the thing that really makes me pause here is looking at this and saying, well, hang on a second. If this was a bug, they would say it's a bug. And then they would stop the card and fix it. Because that's what they've done with dozens of cards in the past since PTCGO launched. They are acting under the impression at the moment that this is how Stakataka's GX attack works when you play a Beast Ball. I'm still not 100% convinced. The reason I'm sharing it with you, somebody got in touch and told me about it, and I said, well, hang on a second. And they were like, yeah, but look at the response they gave me. Because they've not said it's a bug, and usually if it's a bug, they say it's a bug. And I agree with that 100%. They're acting like this is true. Now, quick heads up from me, if it turns out in the next few days that this is announced as a bug and they're fixing it, I will pin a comment down in the comment section to let you all know that this has been resolved. But at the moment, at least on PTCGO, if not in the real game, PTCGO is not an official rulings place. But like I say, they're accepting it and they're not listing it as a bug, which they would usually do in this situation. This gets much, much better. It makes Stakataka's GX attack better. It makes Beast Ball a much better card. Like I said, Beast Ball's not that great a search, but if you can play like 1 or 2 Beast Ball, then it might search a Pokemon, and if it does, it's going to beef up your GX attack. I think it makes a big difference. As it is, if you've taken 2 prizes and you add a choice band, you're doing 180. That's enough to KO a Rayquaza, but that's not enough to KO a Buzzwole. You would need to have taken 3 prizes and then use the 50 base, and choice band would become irrelevant. But now, if you've taken 2 prizes, plus the 50 base, plus you've played a Beast Ball, now you're up to 200. You can use the same theory to KO a Lycanroc, or add a choice band and KO a Greninja. Remember that Gardevoir's weak, so you're going to, crush Gardevoir regardless. It makes the GX attack better. It makes Beast Ball better. Is this an official ruling? I don't know. And I lean towards no, but I'm going to say it one more time. This was answered after a lot of consultation, after waiting several days, with a definitive "it's not a bug, this is how it works" answer. And you've got to think the person answering this query is either going off a bit rogue, or has been given confirmation by someone that this is in fact how the ruling operates. And technically, when you play a Beast Ball, you are taking a prize, so it does fit slightly with the semantics of Stakataka. Either way, I did not expect Stakataka to be such an interesting Pokemon in terms of how its GX attack works with rulings, but I want to hear from you guys. Are you convinced that Stakataka's GX attack and Beast Ball just got better, or do you think this is just a bug, it was answered incorrectly, and it will be fixed in the future? My general rule is if people think this is interesting enough to share it with me, and I think it's interesting, then it's probably interesting enough for you guys to have a think about as well. Let me know if you want more of these kinds of videos. But please do remember, this isn't just a "hey, Wassy heard a rumour," this is a response was given on PTCGO giving a full explanation that this is how it works. When I don't think it does, let's have a chat about it kind of video. Go nuts in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen, but do remember the rule. Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And do check out my Dragon Ball /Transformers /video game channel, Wassy Plays, for some more Wassy action. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.